As Honey Boo Boo would say, you better recognize. I don't even know why I said that. It just came to mind. No, actually, I know. I know why it came to mind because I read an article recently, which we're going to talk about today, having to do with the way somehow people want to pigeonhole certain individuals into being UFO fanatics. Yeah. So what can you do? So you better recognize. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. God bless Honey Boo Boo. This is episode number 231 of the UFO Report. News, update, whatever it is. I don't know. I just copy and paste. That's all I do. In the meantime, before we get into the happy World UFO Day, for those of you who are finding a way to celebrate your obsession, and I say obsession because that's what the article today is about. So if you sit around and you're sitting on your throne, and in between pushes, you're thinking about being abducted by a little big-headed, short extraterrestrial, you may be obsessed. If you're talking to someone and they seem to be morphing into a reptilian, their face or skin is like it's melting off their face. They got that forked tongue. No, it's not that you're pissed off at what they're saying. You may be obsessed. If you see an airplane and that airplane automatically turns into the Phoenix incident for you, then guess what? You might just be obsessed with UFOs and aliens and all that good stuff. But today is your holiday, so you do whatever the fuck you want to do. If you want to be obsessed today on World UFO Day, this is your day. This is the only day that pareidolia is welcomed. Scott Waring, this is your day. Today you can see all kind of shit. You can look at the moon and see a McDonald's. We will believe you today. So take advantage of that. If you're looking at old NASA pictures and you see some kind of the Empire State Building is there now. The Twin Towers. There's a replica of the White House on Mars. Because you saw it in a NASA picture from 1956. I don't know, I'm just throwing these dates out. But if that's your deal, if that's what floats your boat, if you're like Pareidolia Pete, then today, World UFO Day is your day. We will accept everything that's crazy and makes no kind of nonsense whatsoever on this day, July 2nd of 2019. Now, tomorrow you're fucked. Tomorrow we're going to come at you. Yeah, so you go ahead and you say that you see some freaking Martian sitting on a throne like a statue out in Egypt. We're going to kick your ass all over the place. Because tomorrow we're not playing around. July 2nd is done with. Tomorrow, July 3rd, you keep your pareidolia shit to yourself. But on this episode, we have an article. Somebody seems to have taken advantage of the idea that there is such a thing as World UFO Day. Why is that? Why are they so rude? Why do they always want to, prey on the innocent and attack the weak-minded and pillage the pareidolias? I don't know. But by the way, if you're interested at all, even slightly, if you want to follow some of the craziness I do. By the way, I've also been having watch parties on UFO Buster Radio, the Facebook page, and Manny Moorick on the Facebook page also, and the new page for the Dark Horde, which will shortly start promoting authors as we go along. And you've seen that on a podcast already. There's been episodes dedicated to authors that we interview. We will be going full force with that at the end of August, early September. We got to work out the details, But while you're doing that, check out UFOBusterRadio.com. We've been doing some updates there also, making it a bit more user-friendly. Added a couple of things there, like hopefully we'll see some listings for UFO conferences and paranormal conferences in our listing page. So we're working on that as well. Got to beef things up. We got to make it official. We can't let these rubber dickers that go around making documentaries and then crying through them and get all the damn money and then provide the same shit again next year, just regurgitated with new special effects. And the reason I'm saying that is so I actually stayed up last night and watched Unacknowledged again, and I felt so untamed. That's my documentary, Untamed. Unacknowledged, yes, with Mr. Greer. Listen, and again, and I said this before when Unacknowledged first came out a couple years ago, and I said, you know what, there's times in there where he has this, that bright light. You know, you see it in the cartoons, right? That little bulb goes over and is really bright. There's something there that's working correctly in the things that he says. I mean, it's perfect. But then when you start getting into contacting ET and meditation and all that shit, you just lose me. You lose me. I can't do that. I can't be part of something like that because there's no evidence. You can't charge people thousands of dollars to go sit on the beach, aim a laser, and say, they're here because you're thinking about them. They feel you. For real. If they really felt you, you'd have something in your posterior. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying about that. So, you know, I'm 50-50 with the guy. That's all I can say. I like the research he's done over the years. I like the people that have come forward. And there was a statement that he said in that Unacknowledged documentary. And basically what he was saying is this. If 1% of the people that he's interviewed over the years would have the cojones, for those of you who don't know Spanish, who had the nads, the nuts, the testes, to just come forward and stop hiding behind the issue, maybe shit will get somewhere. I gotta say, I agree with him about that. You know, if you would stop hiding like a scared little girl, like your life is going to end just because you say something, then why say anything at all? Nobody wants to hear what the fuck you gotta say if you're saying it behind closed doors and you want everyone to forget it ever happened. You know, they do the whole Jedi mind trick there to forget you ever saw me, forget I ever told you, go on with your life. How the fuck does that work? That shit does not work. I would rather people just shut the fuck up and go on with their lives. You know, torment yourself. If you don't got the balls to come out and say, hey, this is what I saw. Hey, I was on the base. They got alien bodies. They came out. You know, they cracked them open like a walnut. And we looked in the insides. Wasn't human. Bada bing. Call me up. The UFO disclosure guy at gmail.com. Nobody does that. No, instead they want to run scared. For what? You're going to die in a few years anyway. Stop fucking around. Yeah, your time on Earth is limited. Don't waste it hiding behind somebody's pinky drawers. Anyway, let's get on to this news report. Dateline, July 2nd, 2019, World UFO Day. And one publication out of the UK, I believe, decided that it's a good day to take a stab at some of you UFO enthusiasts. You know, dig that knife real deep and ever so slowly. Every time another hour goes by on World UFO Day, I'm going to turn it one more. Oh, 1 o'clock, let's turn it. 2 o'clock, oh yeah. Oh, I felt the rib on that one. Yeah, that's what's happening over at the, what is it, The Independent? Oh, Metro UK. Hey, Metro UK, thanks for the article. I love it. Love it. The title for this episode is, Are You Obsessed with UFOs? That's the question. Are you obsessed? Are you past the memes now? Like you are just dreaming, eating, sleeping. Everything's a UFO to you. The article is actually titled, How We Became Obsessed with UFOs. Fuck, I want to know. I want to know how I became obsessed. Am I entirely obsessed? Nah, I take breaks. Like right after this podcast fucking ends, I'll take a break. I don't obsess about it. I don't sit around looking at bugs as UFO hunter, wondering if he's really an alien in disguise. But some of the farts he has, he probably is. He's kind of toxic. But this is how this article starts. It goes back to June 24, 1947. And we know, for those of you who are in tune with ufology, because you're obsessed, that goes back to Kenneth Arnold. Remember Kenneth? You know, the guy that said something about seeing things out by Mount Rainier. And by the way, I'm not going to give you every single piece of data off of this article because, you know, the author takes a bunch of punches at the UK, comes back with an uppercut, and then hits us in the nuggets, everyone, all around the world, at the very end by going to something that really has become old faithful. And I'll talk about that right before we end this. So according to him, after Kenneth Arnold gave his description of what he saw outside of Mount Rainier while he was flying his little baby plane, he says about 6 weeks later, 9 out of 10 Americans said they had heard the term flying saucer. Then he says, not only did that really begin the road to a meme, but it began the road to an obsession. And he has a lot of numbers in here, you know, over the years, populations in the U.S., populations in the U.K. Like I said, a lot of it, bunch of bullshit to me. But here's a fascinating one that I think you guys are going to love. And write this down. You might want to tattoo it somewhere. A 1957 survey found 25% of the public believed it was possible that flying saucers were the work of aliens. Within 10 years, 5 million Americans were claiming to have actually seen a UFO, and by 1986, polling showed that 43% of U.S. population believe it's likely that at least some were from outer space. I would like to think that by 1986, we knew what a domestic aircraft would fucking look like. I mean, you can't write this stuff. Apparently, you know, people in 1986, they're dumb as fuck because they have no idea what an aircraft looks like, right? Because according to this, the way they wrote this, that 43% was full of shit. And here's the part that really is going to get you in the gonads. So go get your chastity belt. Academic research apparently revealed for this particular person, that enthusiast of UFOs. I have to clear my throat for a second there. My apologies to the listening audience. According to him, the enthusiasts and their curiosity are really difficult to pin down. Why the fuck do we do it? How can you not know why you have an interest in UFO and aliens? That makes absolutely no sense to me. But anyway, how can you not pin it down? Just fucking ask somebody. Stop looking at your surveys and your populations. It's not going to help you. Anyway, he says that a study conducted in the early 2000s shows that reporting UFOs are generally done, hold on to your horses, buddies, by lower income white males of moderate to high education. Isn't that kind of fascinating, right? Basically, it says that if you got your education but you're poor as fuck, you probably sit around thinking about aliens and UFOs. Ain't that a bitch? And then it goes on to say that a survey in the 1980s in the UK indicated the majority did not believe the objects came from outer space. So basically... Basically, this UK publication says that the majority of the UK believes that the Americans are fucked up in the head. That they're seeing shit. That most of America has pareidolia in one way or another. Or they believe in E.T. and the alien Sigourney Weaver type xenomorph is really a true thing. And they're laughing at us over a spot of tea. Now, what gets my goat about this particular article here is that, again, It goes back to what I was saying earlier. Ever since the freaking ATIP situation, every article, whether it's for UFOs, aliens, or not, quotes the ATIP situation. So now, according to this article, everything was dying for a while in the UK and the US. You know, UFO reports were down. People were not giving a shit. They were more into politics and stuff like that, or any kind of other negative activity. But now, all of a sudden, because of the ATIP situation, To the Stars Academy, you know, Fravor and Elizondo and those videos, well, now, you know, ufology is a hotspot now. Now everybody believes. Now, all of a sudden, the world gives two fucks. Thanks to ATIP. And it's true that there may be some truth to that. And then there may be some truth to a lot of the things in here. But on World UFO Day, are you serious? Are you good? Do you really want to get people hitting you up with negative comments and things like that? I mean, what the fuck do you believe in? That's a question for the author. What do you believe in? Do you not sit around and ponder what's beyond that little drawer where you have all your little not so nice things? Do you even think beyond the possibility of your own attributes, your own abilities, your own thought processes? Do you even think that anything is past your little neck of the woods? It really sounds like this individual is extremely close-minded, really, because you can't take the vast numbers of stars, the vast numbers of galaxies, hundreds of billions of galaxies, and more, and counting, because we find more and more every freaking year, thanks to all these telescopes. You can't sit around like a rubber dicker and think that you are the only version of any being with a brain, an attitude, or with the wherewithal to even think outside of the box. It's just really strange that people who are close-minded actually have such a forum to post their opinions without any basis. Because all you show is that basically you just have no inkling for understanding not only the world you live in, but the universe outside of that. What's undiscovered. If we actually ran around like this as a species, we probably wouldn't have America. A lot of things would be completely undiscovered. We wouldn't have metal. We wouldn't have, computers. We wouldn't have all these things. A combustion engine. We wouldn't have any fucking cars. If people just sat around just thinking about what makes them happy and not search and discover and answer questions, and even have questions, but to sit around and research and to do the things that make you want to crack that mystery, to say that these people are wackadoos or they only fit a certain criteria, you're just an idiot. And yes, these opinions are mine. So if you happen to hear it, Mr. Author, sir, kiss my ass. That is the episode for today. I am the Moonraker. I feel a little like gangster, so I think we really should go out like something foul is happening. Because it is. Metro UK, you need to talk to that fucker because he's fucked up in the head. Don't be publishing one-sided shit like that. By the way, ciao.